Yeah, buddy. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy back again, Mr. Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo that's Let's Talk Football. And ladies and gentlemen, today I have a very special guest, the man that does what I myself do, hosts one of the greatest shows that I've seen in recent memory, North Sports Dynasty. My guy, Mr. Alex Loosemore. What up, Alex?
Not too much, man. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Definitely, like I alluded to, definitely love watching North Sports Dynasty, what you guys got going on. I'm excited because I know you share my excitement with this time of the year, man.
Oh, yeah, this is my favorite time of year. I love the games, love when it gets going and playoffs and all that, but This is my bread and butter. I love free agency, mock drafts, the real draft. I love it all.
Oh, yeah. And I know we watched you guys. You guys did a mock draft, but you had the live big board behind you. Yeah. I know I was sitting there like with my pen and paper, like, okay. Oh, that's where he went. Okay. Like I was.
I gotta just talk to the side here. I'm trying to make I'm trying to make my final one. I'll have it ready tomorrow, my official final one. But yeah, it's over here in the works.
Right. Okay, I love it, man. Well, look, hey, let's go right into it. You see the team that's represented on the jersey, that beautiful blue from Detroit, Michigan, and we see the hat where you represent as well. But let's talk about, before we talk about the positives in the state of Michigan, let's talk about the not so positives. Look, hey, back in the top 5 in the draft. I mean, you got a new coach a year ago. Is there any hope? Is there any more hope than normal? Let's state this right there.
To me, I think so, because it's all about setting your expectations. So last year I expected 3-4 wins, and that's what we worked out to get. So to me, this year that hope is 6 or 7, and I think that's fairly realistic this year. The NFC is really weak. You got 5 or 6 teams that'll be good. There's only, to me, the Rams and the Bucs are going to be the only great teams. Right. And then you've got the 49ers, Cowboys, Washington, the Eagles. There's a few teams that are going to be good, but it leaves a lot of room at the bottom there. There's a lot, a lot of teams near the bottom there. So I think it's going to be, 6-7 wins is going to be attainable, and I think I trust Brad Holmes, the GM, and Dan Campbell to hit on this draft, because they had one questionable pick last year based on how they played. Yeah. But I mean, I trust them to get what we need here. So very excited.
Look, you speak of Campbell, and I alluded to it before. Man came out last year. If you knock us down, that's where we're going to come up and we're going to bite your kneecaps and we're going to straight to the stomach. And, look, as an old football player, somebody who loves the rah-rah, yes, that's okay. I can do that, But
absolutely.
Then it's like a couple weeks later, you start thinking back, like, what? Kind of like when Jameis was like, I want to eat the W. You start thinking,
do we really need to do that?
Right. But what are your thoughts about him after that first year? Obviously the win total is not what you wanted, but
I love him because like I said, I was only expecting 3-4 wins just because talent-wise, Detroit was bottom of the barrel in the NFL last year. I'm just going to be straight with it. But the one thing you saw game in and game out, it didn't matter who it was. They fought till the end. Yeah. Whether it was Baltimore, who at that time was one of the top in the league, or you've got these lower tier teams like Chicago and those kind of teams, it didn't matter who it was. You were fighting till the end. You were in every game. We smacked Arizona around. He got these guys ready to go, and it's a coach that players apparently, obviously love to play for. Yeah. So, to me, I got full faith in that organization right now.
I like that. Hey, and to your point, I mean, look, he took Chicago to the very last play of the game. You know what I mean? Yeah. He took Baltimore, had to kick the longest kick in NFL history, a 66-yarder by Tucker. You know what I mean? Just to win that game. You can go back to the very first game of the year where, it's 40 to 18 late in the fourth. And all of a sudden,
come right back.
They come back. There is moments that you saw the Packers game when they ended up winning late in the year. There's moments that you saw where you're like, I believe. It gives you a reason to believe, and I like that. I'm glad that Detroit is kind of on board with that, because It's been a long road.
Well, I mean, all you have to do, too, is look at free agency this year, the players they brought in. I mean, they brought most of their guys back.
Yeah.
But then DJ Chark said that it was all, when he came in, it felt like the perfect fit. And the culture and what they're trying to build here is perfect, and kind of crapped on Jacksonville a little bit. But and then Deshaun Elliott, the safety from the Ravens that joined this year, he literally said that game against them was a dogfight. Like, it took us everything we had to beat them, and that's the kind of team I want to play for. Like, so it's something players are starting to realize.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Hey, look, as I've told you off camera, and as my fiance walked over here, she also is from that Mitten State. Her colors aren't yellow per se. They are maybe green and maybe white, but you guys do come together on this.
Yeah, well, and you know what? As long as she's not repping that red and silver, we're fine.
There you go. Right, the other team that we don't talk about. I've been told
that team down south.
No, absolutely. Man. What? They both can agree. Yes, she said.
Yeah.
But where you also can agree is that you both are diehard Detroit Lions fans, and you want to see the best out of your team. It has been a struggle, like I alluded to, but hey, there's you seem optimistic. You know, as somebody that's been through, maybe because of my owner or because of poor play, who's been through some rough years, I feel what I feel it. But you seem optimistic. Am I right by gauging that?
Well, I'll start it off with it's hard to get much worse than what we've had before. So you can't get much worse than 3 wins.
Yeah.
But they're building the talent. Like, you got a very good offensive line there. Like, you've got DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams, that good running back tandem. That receiving core is unproven, but looks promising with Amon-Ra St. Brown and DJ Chark. If he can stay healthy, he's shown he can be a number 1 receiver if healthy.
Oh, yeah.
So to get him on the outside, Amon-Ra can kind of do his gadget plays. Yeah. Cephas on the outside, like, there's a lot of potential in that offense, and the defense is young. There's a lot of growing pains there still, but I feel like it's not that far off, a year or 2 away from competing for playoffs.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely, and like you said, hey, look, the North is not the North of the past. You know what I mean?
No.
Look, from a Washington perspective, I will not, nor will I ever trust Mr. I like that Kirk Cousins. Hey, shout out to you for getting all your money, buddy. But I've seen what you do in the red zone. I've seen what you do when the game is in the balance. So I don't trust him. Chicago is rebuilding right now, and Aaron is losing players. So
that kind of happens when you take all that money for yourself. So
exactly. So I kind of agree with you. I agree with you. And 7 wins, that's reasonable. I could see that happening. And this year, but look. You talked about upgrading your team. You talked about defense. You talked about some of this stuff. You're at number 2. Who do you take? Second overall.
So to me, there's 2 main players I'm looking at. Obviously, Aiden Hutchinson, the Michigan guy.
Yeah.
To me, he's the number 1 edge rusher in this draft.
Yeah.
And then the other one to me is Trayvon Walker. And that's if Hutchinson goes number 1. Because if Hutchinson's there at number 2, I can't see them passing him up.
Yeah.
The other one when we were talking before the show there is I can't personally put him in a mock draft, but if Thursday night all of a sudden they say the Detroit Lions select Ahmad Gardner, I'd be ecstatic. Like
right.
But to me, it's got to be defense. It's absolutely got to be defense. Pass rusher is not exactly a giant need because you've got Romeo Okwara coming back off the injury. Charles Harris, he had a big year last year. I don't know that you can trust him to do it again because that's the only time he's done it. But also Julian Okwara, Romeo's younger brother, played really well last year too. So, you've got a few guys there. Mm-hmm. But I think getting that 1 stud pass rusher could be the difference there on that pass rush. Absolutely.
And we're going to discuss this a little bit later, but they have the second pick in the draft. They had the second pick in the draft, but they also have another pick in the first round at 32. So does that kind of allow you to focus more on potentially defense at number 2? Or is it just I think whoever's the best guy?
I think it does, because if you look offensively, the only positions we'd really look at, to me, are wide receiver or potentially a quarterback.
Yeah.
And I don't want a quarterback at 2.
You sure?
I will be upset if that happens.
Right.
And it doesn't matter who it is. It's nothing particularly against Malik Willis or Pickett or any of these guys. It's just, to me, none of them are first-round guys.
Yeah.
So if you take him at 32, you're getting that fifth-year option. And with wide receiver, it's such a deep receiver class that you're still going to get a stud at 32. So to me, you got to go defense here.
Okay. I like that. And that's kind of where I was leaning towards. I mean, it is a very deep defensive draft. Yes. I mean, you definitely want to go early with those 2 top-tier guys. You cannot miss them. I completely agree. And then later on in the draft, you talked about you wouldn't be upset if, Ahmad Gardner came to you guys. If you get one of these guys, maybe Trent McDuffie or something at corner with Aaron Glenn as one of your coaches, we know he was a solid corner in the league for many years. So that could be something that would be very, very helpful to you guys. I'm interested to see, but do you prioritize defense? Do you prioritize defense in the draft? It's a very rich defensive draft. Do you prioritize it, or?
To me, you absolutely have to. And to me, most teams should, but especially the Lions, just because what you're building is you've got so many young guys all across the board, but you could use that extra edge rusher just to make it a little more stacked. We could really use a safety to play alongside Tracy Walker. You could get another corner to kind of play in that rotation, because you don't know if Okudah is really going to step up. He's been hurt his whole career. So,
right.
But the other spot that a lot of people aren't talking is we desperately need a linebacker. We need somebody in that middle. Anzalone's good on the outside. He's a good right outside linebacker, left outside. He can play the outside. And, I mean, Jared Davis, they brought him back. He might be a good fit for the inside in this scheme. He wasn't good when he was here before. But we don't really have that proven inside guy. So I won't spoil. I'll wait till we get to 32 here, who I have. But it's a linebacker. I'll say that.
Okay. All right, good. Well, hey, that's perfect, because that answers the question. Go in defense. And before we get to that 32 pick, I do want to say, because you did mention this, you did mention that you definitely do not want to get a quarterback at 2.
No.
Is that totally out of the picture altogether, like out of the first round, seeing you have the 2 picks in the first? I know you told me you're going elsewhere, but if a Desmond Ridder fell to you at 32, do you take that, or do you just see if maybe second round because you got to, if I'm not mistaken, you have the 32nd and then you have 2 picks later,
34,
correct?
Yeah.
Right. So is QB an option, or is Goff your guy and we're not worried about it?
To me, if you draft any quarterback this year, Goff's your guy this year. None of these quarterbacks are ready to come in week 1, in my opinion.
I agree.
So probably even year 1. I'd probably sit all of them for a full year.
Yeah.
But I think if you're bringing a smart franchise, the quarterback has to be an option there at 32, that 5th-year option. But to me personally, if one of those quarterbacks is there, I'm calling these other teams and being like, hey, do you want to get your quarterback? Like, come get our pick.
Right.
Like, potentially Atlanta.
Yeah. Oh, no. If pros bear with us, ladies and gentlemen, he will be back with us, hopefully. Oh, no. But he was talking about potentially Atlanta coming to Detroit and for a trade, because they definitely need a quarterback. They might get one earlier. I'm very eager to see if they make that move. Let me see. Bear with us, ladies and gentlemen. Should be back with us momentarily. Okay, he hopped out. Ladies and gentlemen, Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
my man.
I don't know what happened. It just kind of crashed there for a second.
Detroit, man. It's only so much we can talk about Detroit without just. Oh man, but yeah. So you were saying potentially Atlanta trading up, because that's definitely they're looking for quarterback.
I mean, yeah, you've got both Atlanta and the Giants have that higher second round pick.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, the Giants also have 2 second round picks. I know Atlanta does. Mm-hmm. So they've got the ammo to move up if they potentially want to get one of these quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But you look to trade it, and then if not, you decide if quarterback's what you want there.
Yeah.
To me, like the guy I want at 32, I don't think he's there at 34. Yeah. I think if Jacksonville sees him at 33, he's gone.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, quarterback definitely has to be in your thought at 32.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I like what you said. Goff is still your guy, but you want to look for the future. Real quick on Goff before I move on to that 32nd pick. I mean, how do you feel about that? Like, you know, obviously you see what happened in the trade. Stafford takes the other team to the Super Bowl. We discussed, you know, you're kind of you still loved him, but and everything. But what do you think about Goff? Is he the long-term answer, or is he the stopgap?
To me, that's still to be determined. Just because, I mean, it was very clear there wasn't much around him weapon-wise. There's a good offensive line in front of him and good running backs. There wasn't really anything at receiver outside of Amon-Ra St. Brown. So, to me, we got to see this year.
Yeah.
Maybe you get him another receiver in the middle of the draft here. But with Chark, Cephas, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Josh Reynolds, who he has chemistry with, that should be enough to see if he's really your guy or not.
Yeah.
And I think he could be. Because we saw what happened when he had talent around him in LA. Those first couple of years, he got to a Super Bowl.
Right.
So, I mean, he's not going to carry you there, but he's also not going to screw you out of it.
Exactly. And that's huge. That's huge. Because like we said, you go back to that first game where, you know, you were down. You go down pretty big to a team that went to the NFC Championship in the San Francisco 49ers, and then you fought all the way back to get in that game to make it close late in the game. That was Jared Goff. And Jared Goff had a lot of times where he came in and he made some plays and he made you say, okay, I see where it was, but, you know, can't necessarily get over the hump, but I like him. But look, let's go. Let's go right to it. I know you're chomping at the bit at this 32nd pick. Who does Detroit pick with the last pick in the first round?
So to me, just based on my mock draft, I was kind of shocked he fell here. Yeah. But I've seen it in a lot of mock drafts too. It's Nakobe Dean out of Georgia.
Yeah.
That middle, that guy that can play in the middle, go sideline to sideline, freak athlete, so fast, big hitter, great tackler. Like, to me, if he's there, that's another one like Hutchinson. You run to the podium to get this guy. Yep. This guy's going to be an absolute stud for your defense. So if he's there, you got to take him.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this, because like you, I've seen him drop a lot. When I first started mock drafting a couple months ago, you know, I saw him potentially at 11, potentially in those teens. And now all of a sudden, I mean, I've seen some mocks that had him even out of the first round.
Yep.
Is it anything that, you know, kind of makes you say, well, why is he dropping? Or is it just so much talent in front of him that teams just might not need a linebacker?
It's a lot of, when those first mock drafts come out, free agency hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of teams filled their needs elsewhere. Or say if you're Atlanta with Calvin Ridley and that kind of stuff, your team needs got even stronger at other positions.
Right. Yeah.
So, or Green Bay would be a great example of that.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of seeing what they did in free agency. Okay, what are their biggest holes now? And also with the draft, I mean, you look at players like Jermaine Johnson, Trevor Penning, like a lot of these guys, Jordan Davis, a lot of these guys have skyrocketed up draft boards because of what they did in the Senior Bowl at the Combine. Another one is Travis Jones, the nose tackle from Connecticut.
I've seen
skyrocketed. He was like a 3rd or 4th round pick in a lot, and he's climbing into the first round now in these late mock drafts. So it's a lot of Dean. There wasn't really much improving he could do to his game because he was that good.
Right.
But a lot of people, like Jordan Davis was that good, but at 6'8" and 340 pounds or whatever the heck he is, like to be that explosive, that quick, that like it's hard to pass that up. Like I saw mock drafts that had him at Jacksonville at 1.
Right.
Like
right.
So I mean it's a lot of just other people improve their game and he couldn't improve his game that much. So
right. Yeah. and the funny thing is, I honestly think as far as you could honestly pick almost any one of those Georgia defensive linemen and be kind of like, okay, we're pretty safe here.
Yeah. And there's at the same time, it's also kind of worrisome though, because it's like, were they that good because they all played together? It's that Alabama effect. Like,
exactly. Are they that good singular by themselves, or was it the team with them? And it was funny because I was telling my friend Anthony Handy, that's a diehard Georgia fan. I was saying, some of his guys from his secondary, like Scene, were moving up. Lewis Scene were moving up. And I was saying, it's good, but I said, it kind of makes you wonder because that front seven was so good that they didn't get in. That secondary did not get any looks until you get to the SEC championship, and Alabama starts torching them until you get to the late games when they actually start playing. And it makes me wonder, how good are they? Are they a product of the defense as a whole?
Yeah, it's something you definitely have to consider. Yeah. But to me, you watch and I mean, I hate to throw it out there because it happened to my guys, but you go to that Michigan game where Michigan rolled on pretty much everyone all year and against some really good defenses, and Georgia just completely shut them down.
Yeah,
and Michigan couldn't do anything, and it was all 3 levels of that defense worked in complete unison. Everyone did their jobs, and it was a total domination.
Yeah.
So I mean, that games like that kind of give you hope when you're looking at drafting one of these Georgia guys. But yeah, it's definitely something you have to worry about.
Oh yeah. Oh, most definitely. I do like that pick at 32 though. And I agree. Yeah. If Jacksonville sees him at 33, he's gone. He's as good as gone.
Yeah. Or someone's going to trade up and get him.
Right.
Yeah.
So I like that. Now, I did hear you mention that your team rolled over the competition this year at Michigan. Now, there was one team, and I apologize, but I am in this house.
Yep.
that was down 30-14, and they
came
back and got the W
us in the second half. Yep. I'm not afraid to say it. It happened. That was a damn good football team in East Lansing.
White. I'm telling you, hey, and you know what? And honestly, that's another guy. I mean, coming into the second round, Kenneth Walker. I mean,
one of my favorite players in this class.
Do you potentially take him second, third round? I mean, he is. I mean, not to poke at you, but you see the game he had against you guys. Yeah. You see the kind of season he had. He was in the Heisman race. I mean, he would be a steal. I've seen him drop a little bit, but I mean, how do you feel about him?
Well, first off, to me, I had him, as a Michigan fan, I was pulling for him for the Heisman all year.
Woo,
so that says something.
Kenneth
Walker was one of my favorite players in college football this year to watch.
Yeah, I agree.
And I watched a lot more Michigan State games than I normally do, just because of that one guy.
Right.
He made them super fun to watch. To me, that's another guy, like I said with Jordan Davis, to be that big, move that fast, that shifty. You don't see that very often.
Right.
To me, with the Lions, I don't draft him just because running back's not that big a need. If he fell to the third round, then I'd jump all over it. But in the second round, we've got bigger needs in running back. Yeah. So, but I don't expect him to be there very long in the second round personally. No. I think if teams are smart, he'll be gone by 40.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one place that I've seen lacking in the first round, but I think it's going to pick up in the second round. I haven't seen many. Actually, I don't think on any of the mocks I've seen any running backs getting taken in the first round. And I mean, last year, what did we have? We had only 2. We had Etienne and Najee Harris.
Najee, yep.
Those were the only 2. So, running back is definitely something that people are looking later. But I agree with you that I don't think in that second round that he goes down too far.
He definitely shouldn't.
Yeah, well, right.
That guy is an absolute animal. Like,
yeah. And I would love if he stayed in the state of Michigan and somehow was able to go to Detroit, do something. Because I think him with Swift would be
so much fun. So much fun.
Oh, man. In this league where they're starting to get a lot more two-headed monsters, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, you got Etienne and Robinson in Jacksonville. That could potentially be big. I really
saw Edmonds and Connor last year.
Right. Like, that could really be huge. If you compare Kenneth Walker with DeAndre Swift, oof.
And that takes so much off Jared Goff's hands. Like
Exactly. Yeah. And let's remember, when Jared Goff had a lot of his success, who did he have in the backfield?
Todd Gurley was his running back. Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, that's definitely something that would be highly beneficial to them. Hey, we'll see. We'll see. I would love that. And ladies and gentlemen, Spartan fans, it is on video. He said he loves them.
Kenneth Walker I love Kenneth Walker. I'll say that over and over again.
Yeah. He was the truth, man. He was true. But look, I can't do that to you, man. You got your hat on. you sat here with me and you proudly wore your hat. I've taken a couple shots and you've been good about it. So let's talk about your boys. Obviously, everybody knows the potential number one and least top 5 pick, Aiden Hutchinson. His motor is unmatched. Definitely, I agree with you that he's definitely the best edge rusher in the draft. He's been the consensus number 1 pick for the most of this off season leading up into the draft coming from the season. Everybody knows about him. Who are we not talking about from Michigan?
So for me, I want to highlight 3 players.
Okay.
First one is Daxton Hill. I call him just that defensive back a lot because he can play safety, he can play corner, he can do it all for you in that secondary. Played safety the first 2 years for us, and then last year actually slid to that nickel corner and locked down that slot area this year. So really good guy. I've seen him as high as 11 to you guys.
Yeah.
I've seen I've seen a lot of you guys potentially liking him, but not necessarily at 11.
Yeah.
So if you guys trade back, that might be something to look at for you guys.
Ooh.
But I've seen him a lot in that 25 to 30 range.
Yeah.
Most of the time he's gone by that last Kansas City pick from what I've seen. But absolute stud defensive back. Should be great wherever he goes. The other one's David Ojabo. Was picking up a lot of steam before he unfortunately tore his Achilles there.
That kills me.
I still don't think he should have been doing that drill, but that's neither here nor there.
That's definitely another story. We will break that down one day because that I feel with you on that because I agree.
But I mean, all the attention this year was on Aiden Hutchinson. And Ojabo pulls in double-digit sacks and was getting forced fumbles left, right, and center. Was an absolute menace on the other side of that offensive line this year. Caught a lot of attention to scouts and was, flying up boards. I saw him. There were a few times he was top 10.
Ooh, man.
I thought he was more around that Philly range, that 15 to 20. That's what I call it the Philly range because they basically own that entire area.
Right. 3 picks down to 2,
but he's probably going to go early mid second round now. Yeah. And whoever gets him is getting a steal because a lot of people are saying there's about 20 actual first round talents this year. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's one of them. Yeah. And I'm not just saying that as a Michigan guy. I'm saying that as a football guy.
Oh, yeah. If you saw the tape, I mean, the tape spoke for itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And his story, I mean, it's incredible enough. But just seeing him out there, and to your point, everybody talked about Aiden Hutchinson, and rightfully so. But this David Ojabo guy, I mean, go that Ohio State game. You know what I mean? Both of them were going hard at Stroud, and a lot of people, Aiden Hutchinson is just so good. That he kind of shines over everybody else. But I love that, especially coming towards the combine, Ojabo was getting so much more attention, and he deserved it. He definitely does.
Well, the thing is he's super raw. He's only played a couple years.
Right.
So he's that gifted already, and then you really get to mold him how you want him because he's still so new to the game. that's an enticing thing for a lot of GMs. So I was playing around with a couple mock drafts and I said, screw it, and took him 17 to the Chargers. Just a couple of these teams that need luxury picks.
Yeah.
That have pretty much everything and just can say, okay, screw it, let's take this guy.
Yeah.
And the Chargers and the Bills and a couple of these teams that might just say screw it.
Ooh,
and it could be dangerous.
Yeah. Oh man.
And to me, that third guy I want to highlight, he's gonna go way later in the draft, but it's Hassan Haskins, the running back.
Yes.
Absolutely tore it up this last year. He's a phenomenal pass blocker, really good power runner. He's got that second year, not really the third or fourth year to like pull away, but he can get you those extra yards, always falls forward.
Yep.
To me, that's going to be a steal for somebody late in the draft, probably 4th, 5th, 6th round. And it's going to be that good power blocker and pass blocker, or power runner and pass blocker for a team.
Oh yeah. And he had, if I'm not mistaken, he had a big game against Ohio State.
Yeah, like 230 yards, something like that.
Yeah. And
like
that's huge. That's huge. And you know, you talk about, you know, maybe not, you know, the strongest, fast, whatever, but he's having big time players, big time games. They play big in those games. He definitely did. There's no bigger game, you know this, in your state than I think it's those Defoe from down south. The name
that's our national championship every year. Like, like I damn near cried watching that game. Like,
I know it. Look, I got to be honest with you, because I've seen Iowa play a lot of this year as well, watching a lot of Big Ten. I never had any faith Iowa was going to do it.
Oh no.
After that Ohio State game, like, were you guys riding so high that you thought or was it like this was the Super Bowl, like you said, this is the national championship? Like, did you think you had enough to carry on, or what did you think?
I thought we had enough to be closer than we were against Georgia. Like, I didn't fully expect to beat Georgia. I expected it to be I expected us to be near them at the end of the game. Yeah. I thought we could beat them, but I didn't expect us to beat them. Yeah. So to me, well, personally, I might have been a little bit biased, but I thought we had a good case for number one. And especially with Georgia being number one all year, we were number two going in, and then Alabama beats them. I thought we should have taken that number one. Yeah. Yeah. But I understand the whole not wanting to do Georgia, Alabama that soon again. But I'm happy to make it there, like, to see the improvement in the program. Yeah. So I'm not that upset. Okay. Are you believing any of the off-season issues with Harbaugh? You know, potentially looking elsewhere, or was that all just to get the contract? I don't think it was necessarily the contract for him. Okay. I think it was. You see Mike McDonald go back to the Baltimore Ravens. You see Josh Gaddis leave for Miami. There's not a lot enticing coordinators and those kind of coaches to stay. Yeah. Because they're getting underpaid. There's no real name, image, likeness program to help the transfer portal, that kind of stuff there. So it was a lot of that kind of stuff he was fighting for. Yeah. So I understand him trying to force Michigan's hand to do that for him, and they did. And it worked. We got one of the best centers, probably the second or third best center in college football last year. Yeah. To come join our team this year. Wow. So it worked pretty quickly. So I think, I didn't really expect him to go, especially the only spot I expected him to go was Vegas. And as soon as they said we're not taking him, I was like, okay, he's staying. So, and I think in a way it kind of hurt the program because it was right on signing day where he was trying to make that decision with Minnesota. Right. So, but I mean, we still walked away with a really good recruiting class. I watched the spring game. A lot of those young guys look really good right off the bat. Nice. So, I think there's a lot of hope again this year. I think it comes down to those two games, Michigan State and Ohio State again, the same way it does every year. Oh. I think other than that, I don't think it's that hard to schedule. if we lose those both, I expect 10-2.
Okay.
Like, I expect us to pretty easily walk through the rest of the teams, and those two are dogfights every year.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and I haven't seen a lot of the other teams of the Big Ten, or I mean, I've seen a lot of the subtractions, like some of the guys that are going into the league. I haven't seen a lot of the additions. I haven't followed it as much, outside of her team. But yeah, no, I agree with that. And I knew that he wasn't going anywhere. As soon as when they said Las Vegas and that ended up falling through, I was like, okay, yeah, he's staying. Yeah. And then once they mentioned Minnesota, I was like, ain't no way this Michigan head coach is going to leave his alma mater to coach a Michigan State quarterback. Yeah,
I was just like, are we really? And then, but I remembered the connection with the GM there, and I was like, I mean, I don't really think there's a chance, but it wouldn't shock me. Like,
I couldn't see it, but even more importantly than that, he did the one thing that in Michigan, in the state of Michigan, can get you elected, and that is beating Ohio State. That's one of the things that kind of shocked me. I was like, dude, you just beat Ohio State. Like, this is the one thing everybody's been talking about since you got there. You can't beat Ohio State. You have troubles with Michigan State. You finally beat them, and then all of a sudden you're like, aren't we parlay this to another job? Like, what's happening?
Now, there's part of that I do understand, because I'm being realistic. I don't think Michigan's going to compete with Georgia and Alabama or any of them anytime soon. So you finally beat Ohio State. You finally won the Big Ten. You finally made the playoff. What really else is there to do? Right. Like, he's kind of checked all the boxes. I mean, other than doing it consistently. But he's done everything at least once, so it wouldn't have shocked me for him to be like, okay, it's time to go, especially since the 7 years he's been here is by far the longest he stayed at any job. So
yeah, it's interesting, and we were definitely going to see what is going to happen this coming year, not only with the NFL but also with college. I am so excited, so excited. I actually never asked you this. We are going to be doing, definitely for Let's Talk Football, we're going to be a Let's Talk College Football, definitely kind of break it down, like a broad overview of all the different conferences. Are you guys going to be, do you have a show or anything focused on college this year, or Michigan? Or
So right now, I'm doing the NFL edition with Johnny Dean and them on Bucks Report. Mm-hmm. And we're kind of starting to get more just general football. Like, we're talking USFL right now. Yes. I'm pushing more college football in. Yeah. So we're going to be getting more eventually, but it's been pretty light so far.
Okay. Well, I am extending the invitation to you now. You absolutely know your stuff. You dive into this and watch this, pay attention to this as much, if not far more than myself. And I'm always, I go to sleep with the TV on. I wake up with the TV on, that type of stuff. So definitely, if you have some free time, I definitely want to collab with you on some college football, especially closer to the season.
Absolutely.
I think that leads right into kind of this whole situation. You go through the season, and then I know a lot of the guys I know are it's more for the season than it is from the combine and a lot of that stuff. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because of watching and paying attention to all those games. So yeah, I'm with that. Let's definitely do that. But look, before we let you go, like I alluded to in the very beginning of the show, our guy, Mr. Alex Loosemore, is one of the members of the North Sports Dynasty. Mr. Johnny Deans runs with him. I know Kyle gets on there. Andrew Faubert used to run with you. He's chilling out. He's going to be helping all of us and all this stuff. Yeah. Talk to me. What you got going on? I know you're doing the full draft. Like, what's up with you guys?
Yeah. So with the NFL edition on Bucks Report, we're going to be doing Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We're doing the entire draft. It's going to be a lot. It's a handful. Yeah. Pretty exhausted Saturday night for sure.
Oh yeah.
But very excited. Like I said, this is my favorite time of year. I love, like, if I wasn't doing the show, it was on my TV all weekend anyways. So I'm excited to get on there and talk some football. Unfortunately, like you said, with NSD, me and Andrew are wrapping that up. So we're working on getting the final show together. Just working out some final details on that. But yeah, we'll give more details with that as soon as we figure it out.
Yes, definitely tune into that. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed, ladies and gentlemen. A majority of the members of the Let's Talk Football community are in the comments as much as we can. Yeah. We're all diving in, and it's so funny. It's not funny. I mean, obviously, Andrew, you've got some things going on, but when he put up the post, and he was saying he was stepping away, I had so many people hit me up in the Let's Talk Football community, like, "What happened? Is he okay? Did you talk to him?
Yeah.
What's going on?"
That post just went insane right off the bat, and I had people messaging me too, like, "What's going on?" Like, man. I'm glad to see that many people enjoyed it.
Yeah,
because I know we had a blast the last year and a bit doing it, so it was glad to see other people were enjoying it.
Yeah. And like I said, man, I can't say enough good things about you guys. I love watching you guys. I love how you guys interact with the crowd, but also everything's based on the facts, the stats. It's out there. Y'all pay attention to this so much. Let's Talk Football. That's similar to what we're trying to do. Bring you the best content available, and bring you new faces and from different places. So definitely stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Myself, Alex Loosemore, couple of the guys, Johnny Dean, Sid Swin, all these guys, we will be getting together in the near future, talking football, talking college. I'm waiting to see when you guys get a USFL show, man.
We're just throwing it, like, we've got segments for it right in our Thursday show.
Oh, I love that. I love that, man.
Last week we did a full, like, power rankings, predictions, the whole 9 yards. So, yeah.
Yes.
We're pushing it pretty hard.
Yo, we met too late in life, man.
Absolutely.
Because I love this. Yo, so ladies and gentlemen, definitely stay tuned for that. Alex Loosemore coming with so much good stuff. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we will be doing the draft. Please, send your prayers, send your water, your care packages.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I will not be doing the draft show. The Swintons will be doing our draft show. This interview will be airing live on our YouTube channel that day earlier, and clips from this will be coming before the certain picks that we have. Definitely tune in. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be fun. I'm so excited, man. I'm so appreciative of you, man. I'm so appreciative you came on here, man. We're able to get together. We got to do this some more, man.
Yes, absolutely. And thanks for having me on, man. This has been great.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. So, hey, ladies and gentlemen, it is your boy, Sean Spencer. I'm here with one of the hosts of the North Sports Dynasty, Mr. Alex Loosemore. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, man.
Oh, yeah. So we will definitely see you guys soon. Stay tuned for a lot of great stuff we got coming on here.